All right, we got to talk about the best running back in the country, a man who has carried his team for a lot of the season, Ashton Jeanty, in a huge game against UNLV. If Boise State wins, they are in the playoff. They could be the 4 seed. They might even be the 3 seed, depending on what happens in the ACC championship game. This is a huge spot, but they're playing UNLV, which is the team that held Ashton Jeanty to his lowest per carry average of the season. So he averages 7.3 yards a carry this season. UNLV held him to 3.9 yards a carry when they played the first time. But that doesn't really tell the whole story, does it?
Well, he still got to 135 yards, didn't he? And
out ate the clock on the last drive. They kept the ball away from UNLV and allowed Boise State to win the game.
14-play drive. I think they had 5 minutes or so left on the clock. Ashton Jeanty touched the ball 8 times on those 14 plays, and the final 3 of the 14-play drive were kneel downs. So just to get a picture of how much they're going to lean on this kid in this game. You know, the one thing that I love about Boise State is that they have a workhorse running back who can take it to the house on every play. And, like, by God, they're going to test you, because even if you're stopping the run, they're still going to hand him the ball. He's getting like 30, 35 carries a game right now. And I can't imagine that you're going to get through the Mountain West Championship game in Boise without that being the case. So, you know, UNLV did a really good job. But now if you actually extrapolate it out and give Ashton Jeanty 70 carries in their 2 games, are they able to repeat that performance? It kind of seems unlikely, but that's going to be, I think that's going to determine whether
Ashton Jeanty after contact is one of the best running backs in the country as well, like in terms of numbers. So you got Ashton Jeanty in general and Ashton Jeanty after contact. They're both really good. And UNLV probably is going to sell out to stop him. Let's check his Prize Picks numbers. If you're not playing Prize Picks, best daily fantasy game in America, download the app right now. Use the code STAPLES. Play $5. Get $50 instantly when you sign up. It's a player, a stat category. That's 1 square. You pick 2 or more squares. The more squares you pick, the higher the potential payout. They obviously have every sport, NFL, NBA, college basketball, you name it. But we're talking college football here. And Ashton Jeanty in this game, Mari, his Prize Pick square for rushing yards is 173.5. You pick more than or less than. Most Ashton Jeanty situations, you're going to pick more than with the rushing yards. This one, I might go less than, just because that Barry Odom UNLV defense will sell out to stop him. But if he runs for 160 yards and Maddox Madsen has a good game throwing the ball, Boise State can still win this game.
It's just an absurdly high total.
Yes.
And it's almost 50 yards more than the last time they played. So, you know, and also too, if he has 30 carries, that means that they could hold him to a 5-yard per carry average and still go less than that number. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, I think,
and if he averages 5 yards a carry on 30 carries, Boise State's probably winning.
Right. So this is so absurdly high that, like, I don't even think there's a correlation between whether Boise wins or not. Like, a lot of these squares,
so good that's what it is. Like, look at his touchdown squares. His Goblin square, which is supposed to be the easy one, is more than 1.5 touchdowns. His Demon square is more than 2.5. But the easy one is more than 1.5. That's how good Ashton Jeanty has been this year. And Ari, you ready for Ashton Jeanty's touchdown totals on these are rushing touchdowns, not receiving. These just rushing through the year. 6, 3, 0, 4, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 1.
Yeah. You're basically deciding whether or not you think he's going to break one off for 60, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what you're doing here.
And UNLV's dead if that happens. Dead.
Yeah. So I'm liking less than here, and it's not an affront to Ashton Jeanty at all. It's more of that's an absurdly high number, and I like my chances with a defense as good as UNLV.
That's a UNLV coach. Barry Odom respects you and will design a defense that will make it incredibly hard for you to go more than 173.5 yards.
Or if you beat UNLV, you're going to have to do it with somebody else.
Yeah, which, again, Maddox Madsen's been playing well. You can find Maddox Madsen squares on Prize Picks as well. So, big game. Winner goes to the playoff. We think Boise definitely goes if they win. But I think UNLV's in if they win too. Going to be a fun one.